Well, folks, Connacht's Mack Hansen goes off on officiating after their loss to Leinster yesterday. And this one is, and I don't want to say unprecedented, but wow. Imagine if this was a South African player or Rassie Erasmus. But when it's Warren Gatlin or Steve Hansen, or in this case, a player, Mack Hansen, let's hear what he has to say.
We'll feed it back. We'll feed it back through the referees, boss, as we do.
Can I say something real quick, Pete, about the situation?
Cool.
Well, that was the correct thing to say.
Like,
This isn't.
I feel like we get this every week. We never get any calls, ever.
Really?
I've been feeling this
Really, Mac?
for years now. Like, you can't possibly tell me.
Certainly not when you play for
sitting there,
Ireland.
Like, checking the Gus McCarthy one. How much? How much did they check that? 10, 11 times?
Bit of
One
embellishment.
that gets a direct hit to the head. It's quite obvious. No call. Doesn't care. It's like we get that every time.
Every time.
So I don't know if you can hear the frustration in my voice because it's starting to get to the point where it's honestly it's bullshit, and it's starting to get really frustrating for us because people will say we're an inconsistent team, but Jesus Christ, when you're getting some of the calls we're getting, like of course you're going to be. And as I said, I'm not making excuses by any means, but like when you just get it week after week, I feel it's got to be spoken about now because it's just getting to a point where it's starting to really
Look at his coach.
starting to really piss us off because we just felt like we're getting played out of
Stoic.
games.
He knows better.
And we never ever get any calls.
Ever.
Didn't even look back at it.
Really? Never.
And then Josh goes off with a direct hit to the head again. And I was talking to Touchy, he goes, oh, well, when you're tackling, you lead with the head. What? That doesn't make any sense.
It's true.
That's a penalty.
Correct.
Regardless. So he's actually said he's hit him in the head with his head, but because he was bent over, it was fine or something like that. When he smacked him in the back of the head with his head, and no call at all, not even a look back. Like we get that every time. So he'd be in a tough situation if he says it, but like I feel like we need just needs to be said. Like it's really fucking starting to get to us like as a team.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, Mack Hansen. Listen, I appreciate his frustration, understand where he's coming from, but frankly, I mean, that's just wild. I mean, if Rassie Erasmus would dare say anything about officiating, he'd get banned for a year, get shut down. Unbelievable. Now, people are going to say, but Chris, you can't compare that offense with what's going on here. Well, of course I can. The whole issue with Rassie Erasmus being sanctioned such a melodramatic fashion, an outrageous sanction against him, barring him from competition for over a year and being involved in the team activities for months on end, was because he brought disrepute to the game, according to World Rugby. Well, this brings disrepute to the game. Now, look, I don't have any beef with Mack Hansen complaining. He's got a legitimate beef, legitimate complaint. And answering questions, press conference about officiating, I have no problem with that whatsoever. World Rugby officials need to be held to high standards, and they're not this year and last year. They have not been held to high standards. There's been too many cock-ups, too many poor performances. We just saw a very good game a few moments ago with Glasgow crushing Edinburgh, and Holly Davidson was the official. She did a fantastic job on the pitch. TMO did a great job. Great work working together. Very clear with the players, very clear on the pitch. I didn't watch this Leinster Connacht game. I have to go back and watch it, but I'm sure that Mack Hansen has a beef here. But frankly, Mac, I do have some disagreement with you saying, well, we never get the calls. I watch Connacht games, and you get plenty of calls that are marginal. And you play for Ireland. Ireland gets the benefit of the doubt way too often by officials, particularly Northern Hemisphere officials, way too often. Whereas the Springboks rarely get the benefit of the doubt, and they're very fortunate not to get multiple cards in some of these games with some of the cockamamie penalties called on them. Anyway, well, Mack Hansen goes back crap crazy. Not really. A lot of people are saying he's lost his cool. He was pretty calm here. And while World Rugby may not like it, and some rugby fans may find it, unpleasant, hey, I say Mack Hansen, more power to you. And he won't be sanctioned. Nothing will come of this. Notice his coach is very stoic. Keep his mouth shut. He doesn't want the sanction because he knows what happens to coaches. But hey, you're in the Northern Hemisphere. It's a free pass. The Old Boys Club of World Rugby from the Northern Hemisphere, British Isles, and New Zealand, they let you get away with anything unless you're from South Africa or one of the lesser-known rugby nations. All right, folks, what say you? Mack Hansen, was he correct or incorrect in his post-game comments? Oh, by the way, Merry Christmas, everybody. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We appreciate it. God bless.